Hey, it's Mike here at Music Villa. That was a turnaround in the key of A that I wanted to show you what I just ended there on. Last week we did a couple of turnarounds that were, I called them descending turnarounds because the line moved down. This one I'm going to call ascending because the line is going to move up. You've probably heard that move quite a bit. It's used a lot in songs as a turnaround, and then also sometimes you'll hear it that kind of a big band ending sort of a sound. We're just going to take it up to the fifth and use it as a really cool turnaround. So what we're doing there, I'm in the key of A. So when we get to bar 11, where the turnaround is going to start, it would normally be 2 beats of A, and then we would move into the turnaround like we've done before. What we're going to do now is we're going to give each note 1 beat. So it's going to be to the top of bar 11. So if we counted that, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's how that works, and it starts by coming on the downbeat on the root A, and then immediately we're going to move to the third C sharp, and then it's chromatic from there up to the sharp 5, and then resolve back down to the 5. Okay, so that's basically that turnaround, and you can use that turnaround by itself just as a single note move. So you could go. If I was in the key, I'm going to move real quickly. I'm just going to go to the key of E, and show you how sometimes that's used. The same idea. Root is E, third is G sharp, chromatic. So you might hear it when we're playing the blues in E. So that's the idea. That's sort of how it sounds. In the key of A, let's go back to A. We don't have the luxury of slapping those open strings like I was doing in that shuffle rhythm. But here, we can make it the same idea. But now what we're going to do is we're going to put chords on every one of those beats. And so I'm going to introduce you a couple of new chords. So the first thing we're going to do is play the A7 chord, just like we've been playing. Then immediately when we go to the third, C sharp, we're going to play this chord. It's a new chord for you. We're going to call that A9. That's the A9 chord. And some people would call it a rootless A9 chord because we're not playing the root A, we're starting it on the third C sharp. So we have C sharp, there's our G, our flat 7. And we have the B note, which is the 9, whole step up from A. We just drop our pinky down there and we grab the high E, which is the 5th. A real easy way to learn this chord is to play a D chord. Everybody knows how to play a D chord, right? And then just move that D shape up and then slide it to the 4th fret. Drop your pinky, and there it is. So you can kind of see the D shape in there. Okay, so that's A9. So it's just the same chord, but now we've inverted it and put the third in the bass. The next chord we're going to move to then is just a standard D7. And if you haven't seen this shape before, it's just like an A7 with the open A7. Put our bar in place and slide it up to the 5th fret. And there's your D7 barred. Okay, then the next chromatic move is to the D sharp, so we're just going to move our hand enough to get that D sharp diminished chord. Actually, if you look at that, the only thing that happens is we just raise the root. I move my fingers to get that standard D sharp diminished shape because the next chord I need all my fingers. So then I'm going to move this up to this chord here, which is A7, but now the E is in the bass. So it's like an E chord. Move it up to the 6th fret, and you have A with the E in the bass. It'd be a second inversion. And then we're going to go move that up to the sharp 5, which would be F, and we're going to play that same 7th chord shape, and then we're just going to move it down and resolve to E7, and then to a stock E7 chord that we've been playing all along. So it looks like this, real slow. Context, you're going to move it like this. And then you're into the blues. And then as a turnaround at the end, it's the same idea. Okay, now one thing you can do is instead of going back to this E7, you can actually just hold that for on bar 12 on beats 3 and 4, just let it ring. So you'd have this. And then you're back to the top. Okay? So that's a really cool turnaround that might take you a little bit of time to work out, but once you get it, it's not that difficult. And I've introduced you to a couple of new chords. So we have our A7, our A9, our D7, D sharp diminished, E7, F7, back down to E7. Okay, so that's an ascending chromatic turnaround in the key of A that you can start using as well. So now we've got about 4 turnarounds that I've showed you. The very first one, if you go back to, I think it was Exploring the Blues 3, where I showed you the 1-6-2-5. 1-6-2-5, and we use the approach chords. Then I showed you the descending turnaround. And then we showed you the other descending up high. And now we have this ascending one. So you've got all the turnarounds you would probably need for quite a while. We did them in the key of A. I showed you in the key of E how we used them. I think I showed you in the key of G last time. So that pretty much wraps up the turnarounds. So now we've got 7th chords that are used exclusively in the blues. We've got our blues structure, the 12-bar blues format, and with the quick change that we talked about. And now we've armed ourselves with a couple of 3-4 different turnarounds. So now if you take all of that, you can start playing the blues and go crazy with just different rhythm patterns, different feels, different turnarounds, different moves, and that pretty much wraps up how the blues works and how it lays out on the guitar. So next week I'm going to come back and we're going to put it all together and play a couple of tunes and show you how it all fits in different rhythms and different styles with different turnarounds, and that should take us to where we want to be. So I'll see you next week. This is Mike from Music Villa. Keep practicing and keep playing the blues.